The 2022 Formula One season is ending, and we're standing at the door of 2023. There are so many things to keep an eye on in the new season, but the most important is probably the new driver duos. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris are geared up to help the McLaren team go further in 2023. In this video, we'll have a look at what the 2023 season may hold, and also why Piastri opted for number 81 as his race number. Keep watching. First up, the pure talent of the new duo at McLaren. If there is one overriding reason fans are looking forward to the 2023 season, it's probably seeing the incredible talents of Piastri and Norris on the track for McLaren. Lando Norris debuted in Formula One in 2019. Over the past few years, he's raced alongside Daniel Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz as the team's youngest driver. From the start, he was considered a wonder boy, and many see him as a future world champion. It's just a matter of time now. If he is to reach the top, though, a lot will depend on McLaren. They have to make sure his car enables him to fight for wins. This hasn't happened up till now. Once McLaren comes to the party in this regard, Norris will have a real chance at the championship. Piastri is only 2 years Norris's junior, and he has no Formula One experience yet. He will undoubtedly be the focus of fans' attention in the 2023 season. The reason is clear. He'd been involved in a soap opera during the season's summer break. It started when Fernando Alonso announced he was departing for Alpine. That was towards the end of 2022. Without delay, Alpine announced Piastri as the Spaniard's replacement in 2023. Piastri was a member of the Alpine Academy at that point, but Piastri had already signed with McLaren. This caused an enormous amount of discord, so it is only fair that everybody will be hawk-eyed to see if he is all that everybody expected in the Premier class. It pays to bear in mind that he was hugely successful in the access categories. Oscar Piastri had a fascinating journey to Formula One. We're going to tell you about that in a moment. Stay with us. Now, how Norris got to Formula One. Of the two, Lando Norris has won more silverware. His rise to the top started when he took the Kart World Championships in 2014. Piastri was also a kart champ, but Norris's title was higher. In 2015, 1 year later, Norris took what was then called the MAS Formula Championships. It's now Formula 4. He raced for Carlin at that point. In 2016, he collected another 3 titles: Formula Renault 2.0, which is contested all over Europe, Toyota Racing Series, which is run in New Zealand, and the Renault Northern European Cup, which is run in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany. At the beginning of 2017, he entered the McLaren Young Driver program. It was also his full season of racing for Carlin in Formula 3. Norris ascended the podium 20 times in 30 races, claiming 8 pole positions and won 9 races. He became champion with 2 races in his back pocket. At Carlin and alongside Sergio Sette Camara, he raced Formula 2 in 2018. He lost to George Russell to take the runner-up spot, but stayed ahead of Nick de Vries and Nicholas Latifi. The latter finished 9th. In the same year, he was allowed to be a reserve driver at McLaren. And then Oscar Piastri's journey. Piastri collected several titles while he was racing karts. They were all at a national level, though. These included the Victorian State Junior Championship and the South Australian Junior Championship, both in 2014. He competed in the Emirates Formula 4 in 2017 and secured a runner-up position in the British Formula 4. It took 2 years for him to return to the championship, and he won the 2019 Formula Renault Euro Cup. He had a dry spell that lasted for a few years, but the driver from Australia has now put his potential on display and beat off all competition in a few major championships in succession. He became the Formula 3 champ in 2020, which was a seriously close race against Logan Sargent and Theo Pourchaire. He raced Formula 2 for Prema Racing as a replacement for Mick Schumacher in 2021, with Robert Schwartzman as his teammate. Piastri competed in 23 races, secured a podium spot in 11 of those, and won 5. He ended up winning the title with a lead of 60.5 points over his nearest rival, Schwartzman. Piastri has now secured the Formula 2 title and has joined a select handful of drivers who came to their first year in Formula 1 as champions, such as Hülkenberg, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, and Rosberg. He is also the first winner of 3 consecutive access category championships: Formula 2 in 2021, Formula 3 in 2020, and Formula Renault Euro Cup in 2019. In a few moments, we'll be looking at the reason Oscar chose number 81, so don't go anywhere. Now, what we should expect in 2023. If the drivers have any say, 2023 will be way better for McLaren than 2022. But for this to happen, the team has to deliver a car that can match the talent of this duo. Norris will be the team elder for the first time since he made his 2019 Formula One debut. He will clearly be the leader. McLaren's focus will be on developing him as a team driver and giving him everything he needs to put up podium fights. That said, Piastri is not bound to simply be satisfied with a second driver position and relax. he will be keeping his foot down. A heated Alpine dispute between Ocon and Gasly is unlikely, and McLaren will need insight and wisdom to manage their new young driver duo. The drivers need freedom, but at the same time they will need to learn how to work for the team. This duo could just steal the Formula One show in the 2023 season. And Piastri explains his 81 race number choice for 2023. As you know by now, everybody is eagerly awaiting Oscar Piastri's Formula One McLaren debut when the 2023 season starts. His maiden campaign is around the corner, and the young driver explained why he chose number 81 when he graduates and enters the top tier of motorsport. He said that the number is his as long as nobody pinches the number before they register it, but he feels it is pretty safe to assume his number will be number 81 for the upcoming season. It was the number he had in karting. When he entered his first race, he had to select a number for the race, and the kart shop he went to only had a stock of number 1s. His racing number had to be 2 digits, so for his first few races he ran as number 11. When the time came to enter the Victorian state titles, somebody else was already running number 11, so he had to rethink. He had no superstitious reason for replacing the first number with an 8, but it stuck, and now it's part of his racing persona. No driver has raced with the number 81 since drivers were allowed to pick their own race numbers back in 2014. Logan Sargent, his fellow rookie, will be sporting number 2 in the Williams team for the forthcoming season. Norris was very frank when he was asked his opinion of the 2022 McLaren season. He pointed out issues and said the car needs to be better. Stay with us until the end of the video to see what the drivers have to say about the 2023 season. Meanwhile, let's take a quick look at the more enjoyable races of 2022. Many race fans and commentators are calling the Australia race the best of the season. Texas also gets a nod. It's not only about the race, though. The environment and the atmosphere at the race also determine whether it is good or less enjoyable weekend. For many fans, drivers, and teams, it was great to be back after the aborted 2020 weekend. Monza was a lot of fun too, as was Zandvoort. Max and Lewis put on scorching performances in Texas, and this created a truly exciting race. The support events were fantastic, and interesting people flooded the paddock. There was something to sink your teeth into every session in Brazil. The wet qualifiers were thrilling and delivered an unexpected pole sitter. The sprint was cracking and the race was exciting. Interlagos should be a permanent fixture on the calendar. Kevin Magnussen took his first pole in Sao Paulo before a terrific sprint and Grand Prix, and both American races really made it happen for fans. COTA came off as the most popular because of the massive crowd and the fun events. The on-track action was blistering, better than in Miami. Finally, Norris made it clear McLaren cannot be satisfied with 2022. According to the young driver, McLaren should take a long, hard look at the 5th place they got in the constructors' standings. The team has to improve if they want to win the championship. Norris's individual season was strong. He finished 7th in the Drivers' Championship. He was also the only driver not driving a Red Bull, Mercedes, or Ferrari to make it to the podium in 2022. The big point here is that McLaren finished 14 points off Alpine, who was 4th overall in the constructors' standings. When Norris spoke about the past year in Abu Dhabi, he said the team recovered well from the start they had in Bahrain in the opening race. Norris came in behind Daniel Ricciardo at 15th in that one. Norris also says all things considered, McLaren did a good job in 2022, but they failed to achieve what they should have. They have to win races if they want to be truly competitive, Norris said. The mechanics are better than they were, the pit stops were faster, and the strategy is cleaner. The team's work ethic has also improved. Everything is working well, he said, except that the team now needs a better car. As a driver, it's all about the front in a car. All he needs in his car, Norris says, is front. He says he doesn't need rear tires to be quick. If he has front, he can be lightning fast. As he proved in Abu Dhabi, when he changed tires during qualifying, he was quick. But he killed the tires within 6 laps, and as soon as that happened, seconds were lost. 2023 is looking to be a tsunami of big developments and fantastic racing in Formula One, folks. Thanks for joining us in this video. Before we go, remember to hit like, follow, and subscribe, and look out for our next contribution.